Florence is a beautiful city in central Italy and the capital city of the Tuscany region. The city has over 360,000 inhabitants, and over 1,500,000 are living in its metropolitan area. Florence is considered to have been the birthplace of the Renaissance, with famous personalities like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo Buonarroti, Dante Alighieri, Niccolò Machiavelli, and Galileo Galilei, living and working here. According to UNESCO, 1/3 of the world's art treasures can be seen in Florence's museums. In Florence was born the famous navigator Amerigo Vespucci, who gave his name to 2 continents. Florence was the first city in Europe to have paved streets in 1339. In the late 16th century, opera was invented in Florence, and this city is also the birthplace of the piano, invented by Bartolomeo Cristofori around the year 1700. Florence is also the first city in the world to abolish the capital punishment in November 1786. A writer from Florence, Carlo Collodi, became famous after writing between 1881 and 1883 The Adventures of Pinocchio. Florence is also the birthplace of the fashion designer Guccio Gucci, who founded here in 1921 a luxury brand that is now world famous. Stay tuned to find more interesting things about the history of Florence and what you should visit if you come here. But first, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos. Florence is located 230 kilometers northwest of Rome in a region of hills where it is crossed by the river Arno. The city has a Mediterranean climate with hot summers with moderate or light rainfall and cool damp winters. The highest average temperature is in July 25 degrees Celsius and the lowest in January 6 degrees Celsius. The city of Florence was established by Julius Caesar in 59 BC as a settlement for his veteran soldiers and was named originally Fluentia, owing to the fact that it was built between 2 rivers, which was later changed to Florentia, flowering. After the fall of Rome, the city experienced turbulent periods of Ostrogothic, Byzantine and Lombard rule and was conquered by Charles the Great in 774. In 1100, Florence was a commune, meaning a city-state. During the 12th and 13th centuries, the economic and political power of the city grew steadily. Florence obliged rival powers, Pisa, Siena, Pistoia and Arezzo, to become its allies. Around the year 1325, the urban population may have been as great as 120,000, and the rural population around the city was probably close to 300,000, but more than half of them died because of the Black Death. Cosimo De Medici, an Italian banker and politician, established control over the city in 1434. One of his successors, Lorenzo de' Medici, was a great patron of the arts, commissioning works by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci and Botticelli. In 1494, King Charles VIII of France invaded Italy, and the first period of Medici rule ended with the restoration of a republican government. Medici rule was not restored until 1512. The Florentines drove out the Medici for a second time and re-established the Republic in 1527. The city was besieged for 10 months in 1529 to 1530 by the Spanish, overthrowing the Republic of Florence and installing Alessandro de' Medici as the ruler of the city. The Medici family would continue to rule in Tuscany as Grand Dukes until 1737, when Tuscany was included in the territories of the Austrian crown. From 1801 to 1807, Florence was the capital of the Napoleonic client state Kingdom of Etruria, and in 1807 was annexed by France. In 1814, after the fall of Napoleon, the Habsburgs returned in Tuscany until 1859. Tuscany became a region of the Kingdom of Italy in 1861, and Florence served as the capital of Italy between 1865 and 1870. During World War II, the city experienced a year-long German occupation, 1943 to 1944, being part of the Italian Social Republic. Before retreating, the Germans destroyed all the bridges in the city, with the exception of Ponte Vecchio. Florence was liberated by New Zealand, South African and British troops on the 4th of August 1944. Today, the city attracts millions of tourists each year for its culture, Renaissance art, architecture and monuments. The best-known site of Florence is the domed cathedral of the city, Santa Maria del Fiore, known as the Duomo. Built between 1296 and 1436, when the dome, engineered by Filippo Brunelleschi, was finished. With over 4 million bricks, weighing over 40,000 tons, almost the size of half a football field across at the base, and standing over 10 stories high, it is the largest masonry structure in the world. Il Duomo is 153 meters long, 115 meters high, and 90 meters wide, and covers a total area of 8,300 square meters, being the third largest cathedral in the world. The cathedral is located in the Piazza del Duomo, a square that is one of the most visited places in Europe. Here can be admired Giotto's bell tower, one of the showpieces of Florentine Gothic architecture, rich in sculptural decorations and polychrome marble encrustations, designed by Giotto. Near is located the Baptistery of St. John, one of the oldest buildings in the city, built between 1059 and 1128 in the Florentine Romanesque style. Another important square is Piazza della Signoria, the center of power in Florence since its 14th century origins, and perhaps even before, as Etruscan and Roman remains have been found below its pavement. Here is located Palazzo Vecchio, the town hall of Florence. From here, the city and the Republic were ruled, and the powerful Medici family commissioned the leading artists and architects of the day to design and decorate their offices and apartments. Another interesting building here is the Lodgia De Lanzi, also called the Loggia della Signoria, consisting of wide arches open to the street. Adjacent to the Piazza della Signoria is the Uffizi Gallery, one of the most important museums in the world, which holds a collection of priceless works, particularly from the period of the Italian Renaissance. The gallery had been open to visitors by request since the 16th century, and in 1765 it was officially opened to the public, formally becoming a museum in 1865. Close to the Uffizi Gallery, over the Arno River, is one of the most beautiful bridges in the world, Ponte Vecchio. Although the original bridge was constructed by the Etruscans, the current bridge was rebuilt in the 14th century. It is noted for the shops built along it, as was once common. Butchers, tanners and farmers initially occupied the shops. The present tenants are jewelers, art dealers and souvenir sellers. On the south side of the river Arno, a short distance from the Ponte Vecchio, is the Palazzo Pitti. The core of the present palazzo dates from 1458 and was originally the town residence of Luca Pitti, an ambitious Florentine banker. The palace was bought by the Medici family in 1549 and became the chief residence of the ruling families of the Grand Duchy of Tuscany. Another beautiful square in Florence is Piazza della Repubblica, the site of the Forum, the center of the Roman city, and then a location of the cultural cafes and bourgeois palaces. Worth visiting the Piazza Santa Croce, a beautiful square dominated by the Basilica of Santa Croce, the principal Franciscan Church in Florence. Another beautiful church is the Church of Santa Maria Novella, one of the most important Gothic churches in Tuscany, located in the square with the same name. In Florence is located one of the largest synagogues in South-Central Europe. The Great Synagogue of Florence, or Tempio Maggiore, was built between 1874 and 1882. If you want to see the original David, Michelangelo's best-known work, you should visit Galleria dell'Accademia. Another major edifice in the city is the Palazzo Mediciricarti, built between 1445 and 1460. Today hosts museums and the Ricardiana Library. I hope you enjoyed our video. If you know other interesting places in Florence that I forgot to mention, please write about them in a comment below. And remember that you can help our channel to grow by just pressing the like button and by sharing this video with your friends.